Hi, Taz. Welcome to the show. Can you tell my audience kind of who you are and what you do right now?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Tasneem Michael. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm 21 years old. I'm from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, but residing here in my wonderful, lovely apartment right here in Norman. I serve as the National Civic Engagement Manager for United We Dream. And that's what I do whenever I'm getting paid to do my work. Whenever I am volunteering my time, you can catch me being the College Democrats of Oklahoma president. You'll see me at a protest. You'll see me at an arts event. Kit and I actually did a show together, so
About a year
that's how
ago.
we know each other. So um, folks see me around in a lot of these art circles, and so because I'm a creative and that's what I like to do. But yeah, that's just a little bit about me. Yeah.
So, and you're running for something now, aren't you? There's an office that you're running for. Is that it's the College Democrats of America? Is that correct?
Right. I am running for College Democrats of America vice president.
All right. And the person you're running with that's running as president, they're in Texas right now. Is that correct?
They are, yes. My
All right.
my running mate Gabby Harris is running for president.
And when's the vote on that? When will you know the election results?
September 6th.
All
We'll
right. So
find that out Sunday morning.
that's coming up pretty quick. Just yeah, coming up really quick. Anyway, yeah, so that's exciting for you. And are you involved right now with the Democrat, college Democrats or anything like that, or young Democrats or anything?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, I was serving as the College Dems president. I also serve as a board member for Young Democrats of Oklahoma. We work together a lot of our events. Of course, we work with the same constituencies, but our issues are exactly the same. So, what we do is we work together in mobilizing different communities. I mean, a lot of college students are young people, and a lot of young people are not always college students, but we always intermingle and we work together. So, it's really our job,
Oh
right?
yeah.
In a state of 4 million people, you're going to see the same people over and over again, and you're going to need to help develop those people as well.
All right. Yeah, and we want to talk more about that. How what getting involved looks like. So, what does that look like, Taz?
Yeah.
Getting involved and doing what you do.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, politics is very, very easy, actually. But the way that it is designed is meant to be hard. So the system is not exactly supposed to be working out for everybody. And when it doesn't work for you, it's in your circumstances and in your right to change that system. And that's your job as a person who participates in this democracy. That's something that we don't realize often enough, that the other branch of government is the people, and then the fact that we elect individuals to do their jobs, but at the same time we can't necessarily trust them to do their jobs. And the other thing is, it's not even that we don't necessarily trust them, it's that they need our help. They can't do the job by themselves, right?
Yeah.
We talk
Let
a
me.
lot about, like, no, sorry, I'll go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah. So the being involved and coordinating with everybody else, that's a
Mhm.
big part of it, and just getting in there with what's going on. And I know that, yeah, with the COVID thing going on, I mean, that's got to be
Mhm.
kind of tough. It's got to be a
Sure,
thing. It really changes things up a bit. Uh,
absolutely. Well, I
so
mean, I would definitely, I'll speak to that just a little bit. I mean, it's not the same. It's not. We're no longer just door knocking and doing that sort of work. But I will say this. I mean, now we understand that we can do everything from home and in a digital environment, and I'm there right
mhm.
with you. And in that, I mean, of course, like, we're gonna miss being in front of each other. And when we have a vaccine and when we've elected a new president, we'll take care of that. But in the meantime, what we know how to do is use the internet. This environment was built and designed for my generation.
Yeah.
It was built and designed for young people. We're in that Facebook era, the Snapchat, Instagram, stuff like that. We've never been more connected and at the same time disconnected than we are right now, because we see
Yeah.
what other people have and we see what other people want.
Yeah,
And
we're so
honestly,
connected, and yet I'm in a room all by myself.
sure.
I don't
But
see
now,
anybody. So here
but
you are.
but this circumstance is different because, like, for example, Kate, you and I, we haven't talked to each other face to face in a while, but
Yeah.
now the room for excuse is gone, because now we have Zoom
Yeah.
and we have these abilities to talk to each other. And now at this point we are realizing that the internet is a necessity, so the arguments are in itself building themselves to prove the point.
Yeah.
As to, this these tools being made for us and built for us, that's exactly what organizing is going to take. Organizing is no longer going to be just about door knocking. It's about digital door knocking. It's all about who you know. That's called relational organizing. It is the easiest and the hardest job, the
Yeah.
hardest thing to do, to talk to people that you know,
Yeah.
because those people care about us, or we care about, because we care about those opinions, right? I know in myself, I always talk about, I can talk to 1,000 people, or if I don't really know you, I'm not afraid to talk to you. But if I do really, really care about your opinion, it gets really hard. And as a candidate, that is incredibly hard because people want to always know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but that's what organizing is really looking like for young people, and that's what it means in this era.
So I really want to get back to getting how people, ordinary
Right.
people who've never done
Right.
it, can get organized or
Right.
get getting into it, organized, because
Right.
they don't know how to do it. So what's the best step to go? Where should they go? Should they go to their local party, their county party, their state party? Should they do something totally different than that? What should they do?
So I tried finding myself and figuring out, like, how do I get involved? What do I got to do? And
Yeah.
it really was like the circumstance of just like, it is about a matter of speaking up. Like, it is about just speaking up, and it's about doing what is ordinary, or what is considered ordinary around people.
So
what I did,
is there anything that these people can do right now? I mean,
right.
I want to put it like at the end of my show.
You want
I'll have my title
tangent.
screen at the end, and usually it has a whole bunch of resource information where you can go look up stuff yourselves. I didn't know if there was like any, is there any message boards, or is there any place they should go? Like, should they contact the party, or is there other resources that they should do? Like, you're
Right.
involved with, the college Democrats. I imagine that's probably party affiliated somehow with the Democratic Party.
If you're a young person, I would say, I mean, you can go onto the Facebook page of the Young Democrats of Oklahoma, and you can message that, and we will get you instantly with somebody. You can do that with college Democrats as well, right?
Yeah.
And that's the aspects of the party too. There's also the Oklahoma Progressive Network, which, if you're trying to figure yourself out, if you're trying to find issues, like, so for example, if you're someone who cares a lot about criminal justice reform, right? They can help point you in the direction and funnel you into an area where that can help. Right, where you can fit, where you feel like your issues are going to be put in this big coalition of group that we have.
That's
so those
really
are three
good.
resources.
Yeah, and and I suppose if you get on these groups, Facebook groups, Young Democrats, Oklahoma, or whatever, and if you had any questions, you could probably ask them, and they'd be more than happy to answer them for you, or anybody that's part of that group, if you put any kind of, post in there.
Right,
So
and the big thing is not to be afraid. Like, we are wanting your help. Like, we need you in order to do our jobs. So never think that, oh, I'm not good enough for this, because we were all there. We all started off there, and we understand what we're working with. And there's no judgment in that. We're just here to get you on the team and get you.
Being involved is very important. I think it's really, I don't think it's that hard, because you're right, man. People want you to be involved. The bigger the coalition, the better chances we have of actually doing something. So I think another good resource is actual campaigns themselves sometimes, especially on a local level. Like, state representative, your state representative or your state senator, getting involved with their campaign is a really good place to start sometimes too. I think that's a good resource as well. And obviously, you've discussed a few things that a lot of people have probably never heard of or even thought of. So I imagine there's all kinds of different ways and groups to get involved with that actually activate and do activism. So I think it's great. What else can you tell us, Taz, about getting involved and staying involved?
Right. I mean, and so we just identified like the organizations that you can go to, right? You also have the ability to be as creative as you want in this process, right? There technically isn't a wrong way about going about this, as long as you're not causing or impacting any harm upon other people, right? So if that means that you need to go speak out at your city council meetings, your county commissioner meetings, right? Because those are two things that have been in the hot seat recently.
They have, man. I mean, I don't know how well you know a guy named Mark Falk. But, he's on my friends list.
He's on mine too.
I've met him a few times. I know him. I've met him quite a number of times. He's an interesting guy. I think his father was one of our state representatives at one time a while back. But he's a very big activist in this state, or at least in central Oklahoma. I know that for real. But
absolutely.
He's been in the news a little bit for his activism, getting arrested for the Black Lives Matter. Prater going after him again when they protested again, and then and then the thing with Kevin Calvi and his what he's been doing down there, running the commissioners group. Been very interesting, and he's been very active the last couple of months. But
Absolutely. And I mean, that's the thing. It is so you see these news stories that come in, right? You see these
mm-hmm.
political news stories that come in. And I mean, to be completely honest and real with you, people think that it's a very far away thing. It's not. It's right in front of your doorstep, and you can get angry and upset or happy or whatever it is, depending on the circumstance, about what's going on. And and you can voice that. You can talk about that. And there is a community out there for you. There are people who are like-minded in that aspect who will be there for you. So we've identified city council meetings. We've identified county commission, right? We have literally.
Well, there's a whole. I just thought of another thing that they do, and I know Mark Falk's involved with this as well, and that's the Monday Moral March or whatever it is they do every Monday. And that's something everybody could get involved with too. And I think they might have a Facebook page you can go find as well. And I know that's something they do weekly. And they've been doing that for a long time, actually. But it comes in spurts, right? So now it's back in the, criminal justice reform is really back in the spotlight. So those Moral Monday marches are really popular again, especially now.
Absolutely. And it's just like, if you can't give your time, give your money. If you can't give your money, give me your labor. If you can't give me your labor, send folks that who are in this work just like a thank you every once in a while, or just call them to just check in on them, because this work is laborious. It takes a lot out of you, and it's hard because you're thinking about it all the time, and you have November 3rd, that's the day that everyone's like, I'm gunning for it, and November 4th I can sleep, and November 5th we start back up again. But those are, even something as small as that, right? Even if you feel, this is what it means to build community. If it's that plate of cookies that you're going to bring over to whoever your community organizer is, or somebody, or even if it's your city council person, because think about it, people do not get paid enough to do this work.
No.
In the same aspect of like teachers, and the same aspect of, working in elections is essential. It is because unfortunately we are in a world that we have to help you do your job. It's required. It's not required, but it should. But we have a responsibility to do this together, and that is what my job as an organizer is to help others understand that responsibility at the end of the day.
So your level of involvement right now is you're running for the vice president of the College Democrats. So that's probably what your focus is right now until election, because we're really close to that. Or are you already focused with that already?
We've already been doing the work. We're running this campaign like nobody has done before. Again, we're in unprecedented times with Zoom, but we're treating this as seriously as it is. We've talked to members from every single state and territory. This is the most diverse slate and the most inclusive slate that we've had in College Democrats history. We're making history with the different types of people who are being elected. I will be, if elected, I'll be on the Democratic National Committee as well as the National Executive Committee. So that's a lot. That's a lot for a 21-year-old to kind of deal with.
Well, you're going to start right out of the gate after this is over with. What does the vice president of the College Democrats do?
So it is everything that the president does, which is in constitutionally same requirements, raise $1,000, and also make sure that we're giving annual reports and all that other stuff, right? What the great part of every vice presidential or vice chair or vice seat is that you have flexibility. You have creativity. That's an area where I feel like I can thrive, right? In College Democrats of Oklahoma, we didn't even have a College Dems of Oklahoma. We had a Young Dems, and we had to restart that over. So if we can do it here in a state where we only have 22 reps that are on the Dem side, but we can get Kendra Horn elected and we can pass Democratic policy. I don't care what it's going to take. We can do this nationally.
Well, that's the thing that disappointed me this year, and I've said it in 2 previous shows. Why did we not recruit people to run this year against wackos on the right in our state legislature? We've got 35 plus seats that are uncontested, and Republicans are just going to walk in and have a free term because no recruiting was done and we don't have any Democrats running against people.
Because the people who are doing the work are sometimes left out of the conversations.
Mm,
And the problem is, and especially when the context of the Democratic Party in Oklahoma is that we have to do a better job of taking care of it, and we haven't. We've always looked at an individual or one or two people to like say what's going on. The party infrastructure is already supposed to be there. And
yeah.
unfortunately, it's the opposite. It runs through the candidates instead. So, what we have to do, especially if Joe Biden gets elected and if we can get the resources we need, we have to set this all up because we have a gubernatorial in 2022. Oklahoma, no matter how much federal work is going to get done, doesn't necessarily get positive effects unless we make changes on the local level. I'm in here in Norman, right? And you
Yeah.
would consider us a progressive city. And even in that consideration, we still cannot. We still cannot get a stormwater utility passed, and we lose millions of dollars in damages, right? When we could spay it, we could spend less than, I don't know, less than $500,000 on even paying some things. It's about preemptive work. The most important work is when you get it done, so that when we're ready day one, you've got it.